The following contest is your main event of the week, scheduled for one fall, one submission or a knockout for the Animated Wrestling League Grand Championship.
Over the last 5 years, 10 seasons, 17 men have held the Animated Wrestling League Grand Championship over the course of 21 championship reigns. Nowhere on that list is Matt Classic Sr., and that is a crying damned shame. He will not be double champion, but he still has a chance to etch his name into the history books and become AWL Grand Champion, as is quite frankly his right. Counting his loss earlier this week, he is 63-35 in his AWL career, a ratio of plus 28. One of the best in the AWL and much better than the reigning champion. The most Canadian champion in the world comes into this match 53-52, 105 matches in his career in the Animated Wrestling League. He has only won one more than he has lost. He is the AWL Grand Champion, and both times he's a two-time champion, the 21st champion, and he has won that title by unusual circumstances in both cases. He cashed in a golden opportunity. He cashed in the AWL Intercontinental Champion. This is the man who writes his own story. Tonight, one of the last Masters of the Dungeon, one of the final graduating class of the Dungeon, will have to face probably the greatest technical wrestler in the history of the United States. It is a continental clash. Let's make this official.
Introducing first the challenger, fighting out the smoke-filled arenas of yesteryear, the inventor of professional wrestling, Matt Classic
Senior.
And his opponent, he is the reigning and defending Animated Wrestling League Grand Champion. Tonight making his 5th title defense, fighting out of Calgary, Dramatic Falls, Alberta, Canada, the most Canadian champion in the world, Kid Canada! This is an officially sanctioned Grand Championship match under the auspices of the Animated Wrestling League, AWL Commissioner presiding. At the sound of the bell, AWL Senior Official Joey Babaganoush in charge.
One fall, 30 minutes on the clock. A victory tonight brings Kid Canada halfway to the record for most title defenses in a single reign. A victory tonight, and Classic going up front, but he gets a crucifix into the cover. One, and I think that was a bit more than a one count. I think Senior Official Joey Babaganoush of the famous Babaganoush Wrestling family a bit surprised there. I don't think that was 3. I think it could have been 2. A single rotation, or a single rotational direction on the airplane spin, and that's probably the weirdest touch-eye I've ever seen in the Animated Wrestling. Oh, nice elbow escape. Nice back elbow escape by Matt Classic Sr. The skill, the experience, the veteran status here. Matt Classic Sr., of course, a Season 0 original here in the Animated Wrestling League. He's the longest tenured professional wrestler in the world today. He's been wrestling since Kid Canada, Season 2, came into the Animated Wrestling League, part of the World Warrior Exhibition Tournament. He's been here ever since. We're in Season 18, so 8 years plus in the Animated Wrestling League. And Kid Canada on the outside. I must, of course, remind you of the champion's advantage. The title changes hands by pinfall submission or referee's decision inside the ring. In the event of a 20 count, Japanese wrestling rules applying here in the Animated Wrestling League. In the event of a 20 count, the title will not change hands no matter who is declared the winner. Same for a disqualification or a time limit draw. And here we go, back to the airplane spin. Matt Classic, he loves that airplane spin. To a lot of the young whippersnappers these days, this is a joke. This is just a bit of gaga, a bit of hoo-ha. But in the hands of an expert, in the hands of a genius like Matt Classic, and I don't think that word is inappropriate in this case. And he goes right, knee to the back. As you can see, Kid Canada trying to flex his biceps here, trying to relieve some of the pressure. But all the leverage on the hands, literally, of Matt Classic, as Kid Canada having to force his way up to a vertical base. And there's the claw! The Classic Claw! Do we have a new champion? Do we have a new champion? 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the bout. The Classic Claw locked in. And the last master of the dungeon, the most Canadian man in the world, the most Canadian champion in the world, fights his way out of the Classic Claw. There will be no rain delay in the Animated Wrestling League because, well, we wrestle in places that have roofs because we're not idiots. 3 minutes in now, and a high cross body block. Kid Canada, is he going to win on a cross? No, he's not. But he is going to try. Oh, yes, that's smart. Go after the arms of Matt Classic. You take away the Classic Claw. Both these men, world-traveled journeyman wrestlers. Canadian Destroyer! I did not think he'd go for that this quickly. I also didn't think it would work. I didn't think Matt Classic was that flexible, too. And Kid Canada, you're only a couple of minutes in, kid. You've got this. Canadian Crunch. He feels it. He sees it. He's channeling the true north, strong and free. He's thinking, no! Matt Classic sidesteps Canadian Crunch. Oh! And another, this time a springboard cross body block. Kid Canada, not really known as a high flyer, but incorporating a lot more moves where he leaves his feet voluntarily. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's just my supposition, a change in strategy to perhaps confound Matthew Classic. With the AWL Grand Championship on the line against one of the best wrestlers of all time, Kid Canada may have to change up his game plan here. He slips out, back in, breaks the momentum. Completely legal tactic. And a back elbow, perfectly timed, great ring awareness by Matt Classic Sr. as he locks back in that deadly Classic Claw. The move that he taught to Fritz von Erich once upon a time, though Fritz, according to Matt, Fritz never quite got it right. Only 5 minutes into the bout, we're about to hear our first time call, and already twice the Classic Claw has been employed. Another crossbody.
Open take on. 5 minutes. 5 minutes past.
Kid Canada looking to really cement himself here. He's faced some decent competition. Of course, his greatest victory over Gambahishi Dark. But when it comes to just pure wrestling skill, he's faced Chiba Akagi, but he's never faced somebody with the all-around grappling experience of Matt Classic Sr. And going for a seated abdominal stretch now. This is a bit more in Matt Classic, and for that matter, in Kid Canada's wheelhouse, grounded submissions. Referee watching the free hand of Matt Classic Sr. Will he tap out? Will he give up? He realizes, especially at his age, championship matches, title shots do not come around every day. Great hip toss escape, but the damage done to the arm, and the damage done to the muscles, to the core muscles, the core. Yeah, there you see it. He could not hold the airplane spin, and Kid Canada once again looking for the Canadian Crunch. Can he knock out Matt Classic? Yes, he can. Will he? No, referee says not a knockout. But after the Canadian Crunch, Isatsuwaza, ultimate technique finisher move for the 1, 2, 3. An emphatic victory for the most Canadian champion of the world. His 5th title defense successful against a true legend. Somehow, Matt Classic survives that. Check this out. Oh, he kicked out almost before the cover. He did kick out before the cover.
Here is your winner and still Animated Wrestling League Grand Champion, Kid Canada!
Another Champions Week in the books, ladies and gentlemen. But starting Monday, the eternal quest for golden glory will continue. Korede Kimarida.